So, I'm Emily Brewster. I'm an associate editor at Merriam-Webster, here with Corwin Ericson, the author of the soon-to-be-released book, Swell.
Hello.
Hi. We are at a rustic cabin in Colorado. We're calling our little talk show here what?
Colorado afternoons.
Colorado afternoons.
Between naps. During sobriety.
So as a lexicographer, I've been able to just sort of scan through a bunch of different pages of Swell, and I'm really enjoying the playfulness of language and the way that you use different words, and I'm looking forward to later reading it more closely and really analyzing the language in it. But I was going to ask you about a few different things about the language in the book that I've noticed so far. One was the title. The word swell, of course, can be a noun, a verb, and an adjective, and all of the noun, verb, and adjective all have multiple meanings. And I was wondering which meanings of swell you were thinking of when you were considering swell as a title.
Well, it's set on an island, so I wanted the swell of waves. And the lead character is something of a ne'er-do-well, so I like the irony of him being a swell. There's a certain swollenness about him occasionally that I like having as a sort of a lurid pun in the title. And I got to thank my sister for coming up with the title. She nailed it with just a 5-letter, 1-syllable word just perfectly.
It's a great title.
Thank you, Beth.
Another word that features in the book that is a less common word is the name of the island. The name of the island is Bismuth.
Bismuth is an element from the good old periodic table, but I thought of it as sort of like the word Portsmouth, like Portsmouth, New Hampshire, for instance. Sounded kind of maritime to me. The mouth of the River Biz, maybe. I appreciate, I don't know, the calming effect of bismuth liquid, Pepto-Bismol, and I imagine that maybe they mined bismuth on this island. But it also seemed sort of nicely mundane and elemental for a little island to be named after an element that not many people have heard of.
Yeah, and it's of course a fictional island.
Yeah.
It's off the coast of Maine, is that right?
Yeah, that's where I put it. I think I added a few islands just to make it an archipelago and raise their status in history. An island is a great place to set a novel because it's a world unto itself, disconnected from everywhere else. It makes for a nice closed society. Nobody can really avoid the rest of the residents too easily. You get a good excuse to know everybody. And it's a great place to either wash up on or try to escape. So there's always that tension
Right.
in the plot of either wanting to go home or wanting to leave and not really being able to do either.
Right. We maybe should mention there's some background noises here. We're on a lake and there are power boats going by, and there's a baby off camera also.
Hi, Theo.
He's making the occasional noise. He's our audience.
He's a beautiful audience. He's kind of spitting up a little bit, though.
It's a way of showing approval, I'm sure.
I know, yeah, I'm used to it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that I'm becoming famous, audiences are, vomiting all over the place.
They need more bismuth.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I've learned that when people are really happy about it, they stick their toes in their mouth and squeal.
So another, there are a bunch of words that you coined in writing the book. One was, Theo really likes this one, mud shoes.
Mud shoes.
Tell us about mud shoes.
Mud shoes are what Orange, the main character, uses to walk across low-tide flats in order to get to a smaller island. But he did a poor job of making them and he loses them, so he has to crawl across the mud instead. But I figured such a thing must exist someplace. People must walk across mud somehow, huh?
So it's built on the analogy of snowshoes. It's a great word.
I guess snowshoes and islands might not go together too well, since where are you going to go?
Right. The character's name also is great, Orange Whippy. It sounds like a dessert to me.
Yeah. Would you like the strawberry whippy or the orange
whippy?
Right. Whippy is a name
It's got egg white in it, right?
Egg white. What is an orange Julius? I'm not really sure. I don't think I've seen one in decades, but I think they're still around. Whippy is a name I took from an actual Nantucket name, both Orange and Whippy are old English names that got brought over to the United States. Orange, I could just picture people saying "orange" pretty easily, since that's what my neighbors say. And good rhyme-proof name for a kid to have. Sounds a little bit silly. He's a little bit silly himself.
It's a good one. Another great name is Snorri.
Snorri.
And I was surprised you said that Snorri it's a not uncommon name. Is that right?
I don't know how common it actually is, but I chose it because it was the name of the first child born on North America by European parents back in 10,001 AD or whenever that was, during one of the trips that Leif Erikson and his party made over to Vinland in North America. Snorri does not have a last name yet because his culture names parents after their children. So
that's a great conceit.
There are illegitimate parents, but no illegitimate children.
Right, right. So if he did have a child, you give the example in the book, I think if he had a daughter named Thora, his name would then be...
Snorri, Thora's father.
Right, right.
So several of the characters have no last names in the book.
Right. Why does Orange Whippy have a last name?
Because he's just a plain old American, and they're all supposed to have last names.
Right, okay, all right.
I enjoyed naming the boats in the book as well. That was a real pleasure, was giving every boat a good name and trying to give it a personality as well.
Right, right. Wendy's mom, I think, is the name of one boat. Do I have it right?
Yeah, Mr. Lucy's boat is Wendy's mom.
I think that's the only boat I've encountered so far.
Wendy is his daughter. I don't think we ever get to actually find out what Mr. Lucy's first name is or what Mrs. Lucy's name is, nor is she ever actually on stage.
Okay.
But I figured all the boats would be female. It's more or less the convention, I guess, for small boats.
Mm-hmm.
Snorri's boat is called the Honey Paws.
Right, Honey Paws.
Waldena's boat is called the Hammer Maiden, which describes her. Honey Paws is the name of Snorri's, or the nickname of Snorri's old wife, who was a bear. Honey Paws. An actual bear, not a euphemistic one.
Right. Another great coinage, actually complete invention for the book, is sea gum, which is a substance. Why don't you tell us a little bit about sea gum?
Sea gum is something that native Bismuthians know how to go and harvest. And it's some kind of goop they scoop out of the water. I'm not sure they even know, and if they did, they wouldn't tell you. It's a protected trade. But they scoop it out of the water, mash it up, strain it, dry it into strips, and chew it during the day to give them a little bit of energy, the way a South American might chew a coca leaf. Mm-hmm. And turns out when you grind it up into a powder and snort it, it has some difficult side effects, especially for two guys stuck in a boat who don't especially like each other. And, and no one told them it did that.
Right, and it's sort of there's a nod to the title also in their condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, where did you come up with the name Sea Gum?
I figured it was this gummy stuff that got out of the sea.
Yeah.
There are things that wash up now and then that are just look like just goo. Nobody quite knows what it's from. I think they call it sea squirt sometimes.
Okay.
Looks like maybe jellyfish that have been put through a blender. They might be some kind of I don't know what it is. I'm not sure anybody actually knows.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go swimming when it's floating around.
Right, right. Or it's something good to throw at your siblings while you're frolicking in the water.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It does look like jellyfish, though. I really don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But so I exaggerated it, of course, and made it more disgusting, and figured out after a good few hundred years stuck on an island, the people would figure out how to put a use to it.
Right.
But I wouldn't want to chew it.
Yeah.
I figure it tastes horrible too. They never did figure out how to flavor it, and only islanders have any kind of appetite for it. That's why it doesn't get too far off the island.
Although the Koreans are interested in it.
The Koreans do a trade in it, and they use it as dried tiger testes, counterfeit tiger testes. Another phrase I'm proud of, because when that section was published in an anthology, Amazon listed it as a statistically improbable phrase, an SIP, and
really? Nice.
So forever associated with my name is the statistically improbable phrase tiger testes, and
that's great.
I like that.
That's great. Yeah.